My aunt took my virginity, then I ruined her life. I am a 39 years old guy. When I was 17, I went to live with my dad. Him and my stepmother were also letting my stepmom's 38 years old sister live there too. She had her own room and so did I. I was an evil child with behavioral problems due to massive traumas when I was young. My sister was murdered, my parents divorced, and an earthquake destroyed my home in a 3-month period. I was constantly in therapy throughout my childhood. So my 17 years old brain decided I needed to lose my virginity. My plan was to seduce my quiet and shy step-aunt. I started by letting her catch me while I was pleasuring myself. Then I would constantly bring up intimate themes when we were alone and slowly chipped away at her resolve. It took a few weeks, but finally one weekend my dad and stepmom went away for the weekend, leaving my aunt and I alone. We finally did it. It was glorious. Felt better than anything ever before. We bought a baby monitor and put it in the garage so we wouldn't get caught. We would hear the sound of the garage door long before they would walk in. This lasted about 6 months before I got kicked out and went back to my mom's house. My aunt ended up getting a new boyfriend, and me being the little poop that I was, I told my mom what had happened one night when I was mad. Not much happened though. My step-aunt was mostly just shunned after that by the family. For years after that I felt guilty about what I did. Everyone told me it was her fault for not being an adult. But I don't believe that. I don't feel like a victim, I feel like I was the bad guy. She helped me and taught me things I have used since, and I betrayed her and ruined her life. The flip side of this story is it almost happened to me 20 years later when I was 37. My cousin's daughter was involved in a school shooting when she was 17. She rendered first aid to one of the victims. She was very closed off after that, but she did come to the family reunion. While at the reunion, she would only talk to me since I am a combat veteran, so apparently I know about trauma and stuff. I told her she could talk to me about anything anytime. Like a good family member does, right? A few months later she messages me on FB Messenger. Things start off innocently enough. She talked about the shooting in school and friends, but soon it veered into uncomfortable territory. She began making overt intimate references and innuendo. She would show me messages of her talking to pervs on the internet. The messages were extremely graphic. I tried to tell her to stop repeatedly, but she kept sending me dirty messages. I kinda freaked out a bit because I didn't want the stigma of being a PR dater. My family would never believe me if she accused me of something. So I showed my girlfriend the messages at the time, and she suggested I screenshot the messages and then block her. I reluctantly did. She made a burner account and threatened to unalive herself if I didn't talk to her. Then she threatened to say I was a PR dater to our family. I didn't cave, I just took more screenshots, blocked her new accounts and kept my girlfriend in the loop. Eventually the messages stopped and she ended up pregnant with an unknown man's baby a few months later. I feel I really dodged a bullet. But my point is, at no point did I feel tempted to do what my aunt had done 20 years before. I was just trying to help her, but I realized later that I was just putting myself in a vulnerable position. I learned from that, and I am now very careful who I correspond with online. So Reddit, was I roped or taken advantage of? Or was I lucky to learn from an experienced partner? Did I make the right choice with my cousin's daughter? Should I have never offered to talk to her online?